Hi, welcome back to my channel. In this session, I am planning to discuss about some of the design patterns we can use when developing any microservice. Okay, so these are the different patterns we're planning to discuss today. So let me start with a decomposition pattern. Decomposition means like how we are going to divide your services, right? So based on what, right? For example, like I'm having an ordering application. Okay, so the ordering application, I need a service to make a payment. I need another service to make a credit check of all the customers. I need another service which need to maintain the agreements, right? So these are different business capabilities. So based upon the business capabilities, I am coming up with the different microservices. So that is what this particular pattern means. Like I am trying to come up with different microservices to fulfill my business capabilities. Okay, and the next one is, okay, decomposed by subdomain means, okay, for example, the content management system, right? Content management system means, okay, that provide the content for any UI. Okay, for example, in the payment microservice, I want to configure some of the message, right? So for example, like the business want and the message, some of the messages which we are planning to display in the payment UI need to be a configurable one, right? So those messages, okay, to get a configurable messages, we can make use of a content management system. Like you can send a request to content management microservice that will send you the actual text you want to display, right? So this will take care of managing all those content. Okay, so similarly we can make use of this content management system not only in payment but also in credit check and also in the agreement services. Okay, so what is this content management? This is not a business capability, but it is a functional capability. Okay, it's a subdomain. Okay, now similarly, like security, we need to apply security for all the microservices, right? And catalog management, maybe some of these microservices need to make use of the catalog management to identify whether the product is there in the inventory or not, right? So that is nothing but a decomposed by subdomain. Okay, and the next one is based on the transaction. For example, we can have, okay, transaction per microservice. Okay, also we can multiple microservices can share one database. Okay, transaction for multiple microservices. Okay, so we need to come up with a design. Okay, so how we are going to maintain the database, the transaction layer, whether we are going to have our own transactions, or for we can have one database and can be shareable across the multiple microservices. Okay, so that is another design we need to consider before developing any microservice, and we can make use of this particular design pattern. And decomposed by bulkhead pattern means, okay, that's a separate topic actually. So let's say like in a server, okay, I am having like 10 connection, okay, pool, okay, where the server can serve up to 10 requests. Okay, so so let's say like all this payment microservice, credit check and agreement, the client want to send a request to the payment, and also to some clients want to get sending request to credit card, and some sending request opening, instead of making all this thread pool available for, okay, the payment request. Okay, what I'm planning to do, okay, I'm planning to block only the first two connection pool, right? first two connection pool for the payment, okay, and the next two will be for a credit check, and next two will be for agreement, okay. So the reason behind that is, okay, to improve the fault tolerance mechanism, because, okay, by this way, okay, in case the payment microservice is down, okay, I can still serve the client who need the information from the credit card, right, or from the agreement, right. So that is why, like, we can assign the connection pool to different services, okay. Next we can discuss about integration pattern. Integration pattern is about how we are planning to integrate between different layers. For example, how I am going to connect the client request to the respective microservice, or how I am going to connect one microservice to another, right. So this is about how to integrate the different layers in our application, okay. So we can start with the API gateway pattern, okay. API gateway pattern, like, yeah, so this is about making use of gateway to integrate the request and the microservice, okay. So this is must for all the microservices application, all the application which is using the microservice, because, okay, the gateway will be doing lot of things, okay. For example, the security, we can implement the security model in the gateway. Like, when I say security, all the authentication mechanism we can put in the gateway, okay. So that will take care of all the request which is coming to the server, okay. It can validate whether it's a valid request, okay, and then it can dispatch that request to the respective microservice, okay. So that is the purpose of gateway, like, and this should be there. It's a must in any microservices, any application which is using the microservices, okay. So the gateway, like, we can implement in the Spring world. We have a Zulu we can use Zulu as a gateway, but Zulu having some drawbacks. Because of that, most of the organization is using the Nginx as a gateway, okay, and they serve as a reverse proxy. Reverse proxy means, like, from the request to multiple resources. So that is what Zulu and Nginx do. Also in AWS world, we have a AWS API gateway, which will be taking care of this particular requirement, okay. And next comes the chained microservice pattern. Chained microservice pattern means, like, how I am going to, let's say, like, I am having a microservice called a credit check, okay, but it is credit check to make a actual the credit check of a customer, okay. That is depending upon the response from another microservice, okay. So once it gets the request, it will be sending another request to the backend microservice, okay, and based on that response, this microservice will be sending the response back to the client. So it's a kind of a synchronous call, okay. And so how we are going to connect these two microservices, right? That is what is covered in the chained microservice pattern, okay. And the last one is aggregator pattern. Aggregator pattern means, like, for example, I have a payment microservice, okay. So in the payment microservice, I need to do a lot of calculations, right, based upon what type of payment it is, right. So I will be sending the request to multiple microservice, and I have to consolidate all the responses, and based on that, I need to come up with a conclusion whether the payment is success or failure, or what's a pending amount, all those things I need to calculate here, and I can dispense back to my client. So what this payment is doing is it's trying to aggregate all the response. So that is nothing but a aggregator pattern. Okay, and aggregator pattern is very common in most of the applications. Okay, so that's all about integration pattern. Okay, we'll cover about these two sessions in the next these two patterns in the next session. Okay, bye.